Hey guys, I am that dude with the handsome voice, Johan Yusof, and here is where we interview all the MyPW talents and personnel on what goes on behind the scenes, behind every match, behind every moment. This is the place to be. Welcome to our YouTube show, MyPW Catch Up, and our guest for today is... There are a lot of guys in the business who calls themselves the Dragon, but not many can actually back up that claim.
Oh no.
Indeed, just like the man that we have as our special guest today, the former MyPW World Regional Champion, the Eurasian Dragon. How's it going?
Oh, hi Johan, thanks for having me here. Although it does sting to be reminded that I'm no longer the champion, but still really glad to be here with the MyPW World, watching on YouTube, and very glad to be in your presence as well.
I appreciate that.
No problem
It's
at
great
all.
to have you here as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what do you have on the plate for me tonight?
So let's talk about you as a wrestler. Because back in the days when you first started out in Singapore Pro Wrestling, people say that, this guy is not taking wrestling seriously. He's just out there having fun. He's probably a guy who will never ever be a champion. But you proved them wrong. So tell us more about the Eurasian Dragon and how he became that guy who fans said was not taking the sport seriously to becoming a champion.
It's quite interesting that you phrased it that way actually, because I think that is possibly one of the most accurate summaries of my career that anyone has ever come up with. So thank you, Johan, for that. Yeah, that has pretty much been how it's always gone for me, you see, over the past 4 years. At the start, I guess I'm a guy who always likes to have fun. There's nothing wrong in having fun, but sometimes fun only gets you so far. And speaking about transitioning from being like the fun guy to being like a champion, your former champion, I think something that many people did not realize is that when I came into this industry, with that same, some people call it cliche mentality, but I don't think it's cliche. I think it's the correct mentality to have. When you enter the sport of professional wrestling, you enter because you want to be a champion. If you don't want to be a champion, just do something else on the side recreationally. You don't need to be welcome here. So Eurasian Dragon has always wanted to be a champion from day one. Perhaps his means were different, perhaps it was a more fun approach. So what did I do to rectify this? I started asking for more. I started asking for better opponents, for title matches. And what was thrown in my way? Roadblocks. What did I do to those roadblocks? Sometimes the roadblocks, I stumbled at certain hurdles. But I think you saw, I think everybody in Malaysia saw, everybody in Singapore saw, July 15, 2016, that was the turning point of my career. That was the night where everything culminated, all my hard work, all my sacrifice, and then I became the MyPW World Regional Champion. So sometimes you ask how do you get to this stage? I think in life, it is nobody's fault except your own. You always have to take ownership of your actions. The Eurasian Dragon one day realized that it was time to put up or shut up, And the match with Shaukat, that was my proving ground, and I think that was the night that I enacted this entire paradigm shift for all the fans of MyPW World or Singapore wrestling fans.
You've had a lot of ups and downs. You've faced guys like Andrew Tang for the SPW Southeast Asian Championship. You've gone up against guys like Ho Ho Loon in the ring before. But Wrestling City Asia may have been what you have alluded to earlier, the biggest night of your career when you faced MyPW's very own Shaukat for the World Regional Championship and defeated him. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that entire experience, the entire match, how it went for you, how you soaked in everything within that entire match?
This is very similar to a question that my very good friend Mr. Froy's, your ring announcing counterpart from SPW,
Yeah.
he posed me the same question before I went up against Shaukat. Like, he brought me through my career memories. Yeah, lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of countries as well. But I think everything was just building to that one moment. Like you mentioned, I failed to win the AWGC Junior Heavyweight Championship. I failed to win the SPW Southeast Asian title, which, you know, the D was reminding me so much about leading up to our match. But somehow, you know, at that moment, July 15 at Wrestling City, when Shaukat made that one mistake, and when after enduring so much through that match, because that match, brother, I know you couldn't make it for it, but you had to be there live in order to just really soak in everything, because Shaukat gave it to me, I gave it back to him. At the end of the night, it was my experience that overcame his aggression. I waited for him to make that one mistake, covered him, and that moment, it was beautiful, man, because like I had so many memories all around the world with so many different people, but at the end of the day, these things cannot be written. You know, it has to like happen somehow. It has to lead to this, and it was so beautiful because like me and Shaukat, we stood there in the ring, mutual respect. We embraced. The fans soaked it all in. Great moment, watershed moment, I think, for SPW, for MyPW, fans from both sides of the causeway. I think that night we took a giant leap forward for the sport of Asian Pro Wrestling itself. Winning a championship, validating all my efforts, all my travels around the world, all the hours spent in the gym or in the ring. It's unbelievable, man. You know, words can't do justice to how much that night meant to me. Winning the MyPW World Regional Championship, it means everything to me. It meant everything. Best 3 weeks of my life, I suppose, until you know what happened recently.
We started off with one of the biggest, probably the biggest moments of your entire career when you defeated Shaukat to become the MyPW World Regional Champion. Now let's take you to what I guess some people may consider one of your lower points of your career, Resistance, where you wrestled the D, and you know, the both of you go way back. And here was your chance to prove that you are the better man, the better champion as well. But unfortunately, when you had that match, you know, you could have had that match ended quickly, but somehow things took a turn for the worst, and the D ended up walking out of Kuwash Theatre, MyPW Resistance, the new MyPW World Regional Champion. What happened during that match? What happened at that moment?
Well, I guess before I delve further into your question, let's just address the elephant in the room. And yeah, the D and I go way back. And make no mistake about it, you know, like people, including myself, we feel the D may be a coward, a trash talker, but the D also stands for durable. The man behind the D, he and I, we've trained together, and I've seen what the D is capable of. I know the D is a good wrestler, which is exactly why you saw my display at MyPW Resistance, where I just, you know, took it to him. I kept taking him back down with my strength advantage, my experience advantage, but he did keep coming back up. I mean, you are all familiar with it. I think some people in the crowd also were wondering, like, oh, okay, maybe this guy is made of better stuff, as in the D. However, you're right. Perhaps at certain points of that match, I should have gone for the cover. But as all of you know, it was such a personal match. Emotions are running high. And there was no way that night I was going to walk out of Kuwash Theatre without leaving the D in a heap on the floor. That was what I came to do. That was what I did. But like you saw, you were calling the action at ringside. I watched the footage. I heard all of you, the commentators, everyone in the crowd, you guys, even the referee. We all saw what happened at the end of the match. Statement came out one more time, totally unexpected. I had no idea he was coming up. And he took what mattered most from me. He and the D, they robbed me, man. They robbed me.
Well, just like the D, you and Andrew Tang, the statement, the SPW Southeast Asian champion, you both go way back as well.
Oh,
You
definitely.
both have a very, very long history together.
Definitely.
And here he is, coming all the way from Singapore to MyPW Resistance just to cost you a match. One of your biggest matches in your career against the D,
Exactly.
causing you to lose the MyPW World Regional Championship. I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think was up with that? What was his motivations for him to come all the way to cost you a match? And if so, are we going to see the two of you face off each other, whether it be in a MyPW ring or an SPW ring or just about anywhere else? Where do you think this new feud between you and the statement will be heading to?
You see, the statement is the SPW Southeast Asian champion. The Eurasian Dragon was MyPW World the regional champion. On that note, I guess it reached a point where both champions, both representing similar demographics, Southeast Asia, the region. The statement is a lot of things. The statement is a fantastic competitor, but he is also one of the most self-centered people I know. The statement wants the spotlight, and true enough at MyPW Resistance, who was everyone talking about after the show? SPW champion, statement Andrew Tang. You ask me what's next, I'm gonna answer with an often repeated line as well. I know I began this with a cliche, I'm gonna end this with a cliche. Andrew Tang and the Eurasian Dragon are destined to do this forever. I think there is no stop. He and I, we've not just fought in Singapore, we've fought in China, we were partners in Russia, partners in Hong Kong, so storied history all around the world. And I think, Johan, I think it is about time the statement and the Dragon take their fight to MyPW. WrestleCon is coming up. I am not too sure what the commissioner and the GM have in store for us, but what I've been hearing through the grapevine, through the pipeline from some of the MyPW talents, it's very likely that Malaysian wrestling fans will bear witness to the next chapter of Statement versus Dragon. This time round, you see, each installment, it always ends the same way. It always ends with me putting up a good fight, but amounting to what people say is not good enough. Johan, you know something? I've always known that I was never that not good enough kind of guy, okay? It took me so long to prove to the world. It took me a match with Shao Kahn to show everybody how good I actually was. This time round, it's going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be showing this to Singapore. This time around, I'm going to be showing this to something that also is very close to the heart. That's MyPW. MyPW gifted me this opportunity to take my level up, to take my career to the next level as the MyPW World Regional Champion. And come WrestleCon, should the Statement and the Dragon face off again in any capacity, new heights will be attained, and maybe, just maybe, the Statement will finally be shut up.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Eurasian Dragon.
Yeah.
We are now on the road to WrestleCon, which is going to be taking place on September 17th at Chinwoo Stadium in Kuala Lumpur. WrestleCon, of course, is the biggest wrestling convention in Southeast Asia, and all your favorite MyPW stars, including those from beyond, will be there to take part in one of the biggest days in professional wrestling history in Southeast Asia. So be sure to buy your tickets today, come and check out WrestleCon, and we hope to see you there. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Johan Yusof signing out for MyPW Catch Up.